So the guys at Daily Gooner Podcast have asked me a couple of questions about this season and my opinions. So the first question they asked me was thoughts on the season. The season started well with the 3-0 win against Fulham. I mean, we had goals from Gabriel, the new signing, Lacazette, Aubameyang was scoring goals. Then we went to West Ham. I believe we got a 2-1 win there. That was a decent win after a hard game. That was very hard. Then in the Carabao Cup, we had a 2-1 win against Leicester, or 2-0. Sorry, I should say, 2-0 win. That was a good game. That was the first time we'd gone away for a long time and actually got a good result out there. But unfortunately, just after that, it just all went downhill. We went on a huge. Some games we did alright, but we just wasn't getting results. And then out of nowhere, we had the Man United 1-0 away, and that was a game that everyone thought, oh, we're back. El Neni Partey with an absolute masterclass of a game in midfield, and we all thought, right, let's build on from this. We've had a bit of a struggle, but now we can go back up. But then after that, I believe we went on an 8 non-winning streak, and then, God, that was probably the worst 2 months of football I've seen Arsenal play for a long time, and I haven't seen the best of teams, so yeah. Then we got to the 2nd of Jan, and we played West Brom, and we got a 4-0 win, and that was obviously against West Brom away, but in the snow, proper football. Then we had like the Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Kieran Tierney, Saka and Smith-Rowe getting a lovely link-up play, which you'll see about that later. But Kieran Tierney's goal, what a goal that was. I mean, the way he went past the defender, cut in, banged it with his right foot, and you'll hear about that later as well. But yeah, but then even after that, we went on a sort of poor run in the league. We weren't getting the results, and then obviously the Europa League come about, and we played Benfica in the round of 32, I believe, and then we drew that home 1-1. And then we went and won 3-2. Bit of a struggle, that one. That was a hard tie. That was a very hard tie. Then we had obviously Olympiacos. I mean, that was a tough sort of couple legs. They always give us a tough time. They're a bit of a bogey team anyway, but we managed to get over the line with that. And then we obviously had Slavia Prague, done what's right for football, obviously kicking out the racists. And again, we might have thought, oh, that's just turning in the right direction after a couple of bad games, bad bit of form. Winning that 4-0, everyone's excited for Villarreal. And I don't really know what to say about that. I think the less said is better, but I think it has to be spoken about. I mean, the first game was probably the worst football we'd played all season, and it had to be the best, but it was the worst. But then, obviously, we had hope, players coming back from injury, we had Tierney, obviously, we thought the Louise would come back, but disappointing. And then we had another boring game. We had to score, we had to win, but we just didn't. I don't really know why we didn't, but the players' mindset was just not there on that day. Players like Pepe, Saka, I guess Smith-Rowe was probably our best player, but yeah, that was very disappointing, and it's just ended off a really poor season overall, to be honest. A season I didn't expect would be so poor, but it has happened. That's how it's happened, unfortunately. I think when you look at the season overall, the youngsters definitely carried us, I'd say. That's the highlight of the season, I guess. Then, obviously, next year we've got Saliba and Mavropanos maybe coming back. So hopefully that'll be help us next season. So yeah, that ends off that topic. The next, I was asked about what I feel about Arteta. And just in general, what my opinions on Arteta are. So I said that he's inherited 2 managers worth of average players, in my opinion. When you watch them week in, week out, a lot of them are very average. You had a lot of leaders sold with Unai Emery, with Koscielny and Nacho Monreal, who was amazing. I really liked Nacho, one of my favourite players. And then, but when you look at Arteta as well, he's not the perfect manager. We know that. He makes poor decisions in games. We saw against Villarreal the other day how he took off Aubameyang after just hitting the post and we needed a goal, and he brings on Willian, who had never scored a goal. But that's his decision. Didn't work, but that's what we have to deal with. I mean, he's handled situations well with Ozil, Mustafi, Kolasinac, got them out in January, even though not all of them have actually left properly yet. But just getting rid of them out of the changing room, because it was quite obvious they was I don't really know how to explain it. Just a bad egg, I'd say, in the changing room. Caused a lot of problems, I believe. He's but then on a good note, he's helped Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli this season. He's helped Saka and Smith Rowe massively, letting them get a better chance. Making Saka a right winger, that's his best position. Making Smith Rowe a left winger like a Jack Grealish. And then you had Martinelli, who had a terrible injury, and I thought Martinelli should have had more game time recently, but I believe that what Mikel did was right, and he's let them build in slowly, and now we can see Martinelli scoring with his first start back in the Premier League. Just amazing talent. And then with Saliba, he dealt with that situation very well, even though I thought he deserved, again, a chance. But going back to France, and he's got player of the month now, so it's better for us now. He's got more experience. And yeah, I think this season's been poor, but Arteta's a young manager, and I don't think anything should be said about him being released yet or anything like that. I think he's still a good manager, and he's a young manager, so anyone saying that he should be gone, I think you should just give him a bit more time. So the third question that Daily Gooner has asked me is, who has been our best player in quite a terrible season, to be honest? There's not a lot of candidates, but got a couple. I'll say Lacazette is one of my options. He's had one of the better seasons for Arsenal, but yet again, nothing amazing, and a reason why he may be sold in the summer anyway. Kieran Tierney obviously got injured a couple times, but when he was performing, arguably the best left back in the league, in my opinion. I mean, much better than Reguilon down the road. We all know that. But yeah, he definitely stepped up in big games and helped get assists and goals as well. But for me, Saka, it has to be Saka. He's 19, coming into the side now, and he's just carrying us in a lot of games, like Aubameyang was doing last season. Saka is doing this season. He's had moments such as the assist against Benfica to Aubameyang, so we can go through in the last minute. The goal at Chelsea, people might say it's a fluke, but I'd say it's a great goal. Might as well. And then you've got the goal at Slavia to make it 2-0, I think it was. It's a great goal, cutting in on his left, exactly what we wanted to do as a right winger. I think this year Saka's definitely found the right wing position, and he's very good at cutting in, and also, but he can use his right if he wants to as well. So yeah, my player of the season is Bukayo Saka. The next question, which leads me on from the last one, is what is my goal of the season? I mean, we have scored some good goals, even though it's not been a great season, but there's lots of options, I'd say. You've got honourable mentions such as Kieran Tierney goal in the West Brom 4-0. That was a great goal. Where he cut in on his right. I said about that earlier. You've also got the Lacazette goal against in the Europa League. I'm not sure what team it was, but it was a banging goal straight over the keeper's head from outside the box. That was a banging goal. But for me, it has to be the Saka one. Saka again. Saka at West Brom 4-0. I believe it's where he passes to Emil, Emil passes it to Saka. Saka passes it to Lacazette. Lacazette, nice ball into Smith Rowe, who then plays an absolutely amazing ball through to Saka, who just slots it in, nice open goal. And it's probably the best piece of football we've seen all season, to be fair. And it just, that sort of pinpointed that season, showed the players that have been playing, Lacazette, Smith Rowe, Kieran Tierney, and Saka. And the Daily Gooner podcast asked me was, what do we need to progress in the future? And firstly, I definitely said we have to get the Cronkies out. KSE has ruined this club. They've got to go now. It's been way too long. It's been 10 years since they've had full ownership, I believe, and they've just done nothing to help the fans. They tried to set up the Super League and that's flopped. They definitely will do in the future, so we've got to get them out straight away. Daniel Ek, please. We need you to buy the club with Henry, Vieira, Bergkamp, the people that know Arsenal. We need to install Arsenal back into Arsenal, as mad as that may sound. Also with the players, there's so many players that have to go. I've got a list of the deadwood and the sellable players that we just have to get rid of. You've got Bellerin, Kolasinac, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, even though he's a good player, but he's ruined himself at Arsenal in my opinion. El Neni, not good enough. Torreira, not good enough. Lacazette, obviously 1 year left, but I think it's time to get some money for him. And Ketia, not good enough for me, never has been. Willian, awful, probably the worst signing I think I've seen for Arsenal in a long time. Then Leno, obviously the rumours of him wanting to leave, disappointing. I don't want to play like that at my club. Bye-bye. And then with the players on loan, I think you've got Willock can go on loan again. Balogun signing a new contract, he can go on loan again. Nelson, one of my actually a favourite player of mine, I hope he goes on loan again or gets his chance in the first team as well. And then you've got Mavropanos. Hopefully he's sold and he gets another chance, maybe in the first team or maybe at a German club again. Finally, I was asked, how long do I give Arteta with the overhaul needed? Well, I said, in my opinion, with another transfer window, he definitely needs that. He shouldn't be gone at the end of the season. That's ridiculous. I think to get the team that Arteta wants, he needs maybe 1 or 2 transfer windows. When I look at the players that we might realistically may be able to get, you've got Ryan on the free, you've got maybe Magnan from Lille, about 25 million, you've got Aarons for about 25 million as well, Bertrand, who's just today left Southampton in the summer, he's a free. Bissouma, 30 million, obviously we know that's probably going to happen soon, Arsenal fan as well. I think realistically you've got Buendia or Odegaard to go for. Personally, it's a hard one. Maybe on Buendia because he understands the English football, but Odegaard, obviously there's a lot of good quotes saying that he wants to stay as well. I wouldn't mind either way. And then Ivan Toney for me has to be bought in the summer. We need a striker to replace Lacazette. Maybe to give Aubameyang a lift. Maybe seeing Ivan Toney coming might step up his game as well. We have 2 very good strikers. One that is world class right now in Aubameyang. I've also heard that there may be an exceptional summer ahead. I've heard that before with Kroenke saying be excited and we signed Pepe. See, that hasn't worked out amazingly, but then when I hear exceptional, I think you add Aouar in, you add Grealish in. Maybe there's others that we don't know yet that are exceptional that the board may know of. I think also you can try and get in another Martinelli type player, maybe 1 or 2 of them from the Brazilian market. Edu, hopefully he does that. With all this said, I think maybe with all these players coming in, he will have a better summer next year because there'll be his players coming in. All the players that he doesn't want from the old regimes will be gone and it'll be like a fresh start again. I think with the exceptional players maybe coming in, or even just the realistic ones, I think we can go back into the top 6. I think top 4 is a bit early at the moment, depending on the summer, obviously. We may have an amazing summer, but I think top 4 is way out of the league at the moment. I think top 6 can happen next year. I think Arteta's the right man to do it at the moment. And I think with Arteta, he's very good at developing players one-on-one. And hopefully he can do that for the next couple of years of Arsenal. And if not, it'll be someone else. But at the end of the day, we all love Arsenal, and that's what we're here for. So yeah, at the moment it's Arteta in.